Morning. For our coffee chat, we are focusing on continuing our short series on supporting the whole child and focusing on executive functioning skills this morning. So we're glad that you can be here. We are the Diverse Learners Cooperative. For those of you who haven't joined us before, we are a nonprofit organization based out of Nashville, Tennessee, and we aim to connect teachers to relevant professional growth opportunities, resources, and networks that propel best practice and lifelong success for diverse learners. We're very focused on our students with disabilities and our English language learners. And we do this by creating resources, spaces to collaborate, and then directly partnering with schools to provide coaching support. So today we're going to focus on what is executive functioning, how did we support executive functioning before, as in when we were in school buildings, and then how can we support executive functioning now that we are not in school buildings but still responsible or able to support students via remote access. So to start, what is executive functioning? Executive functioning is a set of mental skills that includes working memory, flexible thinking, and self-control. And we use these skills every day to learn and work and manage daily life. And this includes all of these thoughts here on the side around organizing and prioritizing, activating work, monitoring and self-regulating our actions, short-term memory, recall, managing our frustrations, regulating alertness, focusing and sustaining, and shifting between tasks using our attention skills. And that is a lot of things, right? It's all of the things that we need in order to engage in life and use our brains to do so. And students that have difficulty with executive functioning skills may be have difficulty maintaining attention or getting a task done or regulating their emotions in order to complete tasks or to attend. So how are we supporting these skills when we were in school before? Well, we were doing a lot of different things. Just based on how we planned our classroom schedules and routines, those are all supports for executive functioning. We explicitly stated directions and expectations. We would frequently check in with students. They were in our classroom so we could walk around and see what they were doing and give them verbal prompts or picture reminders or peers that were modeling for them appropriate ways to start and shift and complete tasks. We would prepare them for transitions between activities. We would provide homework calendars and organizers to ensure that they remembered what tasks they needed to complete. And then we had IEP goals that specifically focused on these areas and would provide explicit instruction to teach and practice and reinforce these skills. And not that we can't do any of these things now, it just looked a lot different when we were in the school building. And so we need to recognize this as a setting change. That we have moved from school to home, and so our support also needs to change. So here are some ideas about how we can do, well, first of all, now what are we expecting at home? Sorry. So we went from school and now this is what we're expecting from students at home, that they would complete tasks independently, that they would log on to instruction at specific times, that they would participate in digital social interactions, which is a whole different, you all know, and after being on probably lots of Zoom calls in the last couple of weeks, how different these social interactions can be. That following new and unfamiliar directions, how to log on something that they've never logged on before, or how to do assignments that they're unfamiliar with because either they can't remember when we did it in school or it's a completely new task for them. That they need to ask for help when needed, but the teacher isn't there or the parents aren't always right there to ask for help. And then to regulate emotions during a global pandemic. And as I was typing this, I was thinking, whoa, I am having trouble with doing that myself. I cannot imagine kind of the experience of our kids that are doing that right now. There's a lot of emotions during this time, and they are difficult to regulate. And so this is what we're expecting from our students at home. They need a lot of help with executive functioning skills right now in new and different and flexible ways. And so what are some ways that we can do that feel productive and authentic for our students to engage in? So here are some ideas. First, we can help students set goals. We can support students to choose goals, whether they're academic or not, considering their interests, offering choice, and then build skills to tackle that goal. Break it down into action steps and timelines. Now, on each one of these slides that are coming up, there's going to be a range of resources. When I send out the slide deck at the end of this presentation, all of these things are going to be linked so that if you want more information or you'd like to use that tool, you can just click on the picture to find it. But setting goals is really helpful to build executive functioning skills. And right now, there's an opportunity we have here in Nashville. We have 4 weeks left of school and a real opportunity to say, okay, what are we going to use these last 4 weeks and a final push toward the end of the year? And how are we going to set ourselves up for summer and whatever would come next too? So these are some possibilities for setting goals. Our kids that struggle with executive functioning or just need to bolster those skills do really well with checklists. Checklists are a wonderful tool. I think as teachers, we all know that. We have checklists coming out our ears at the moment of all the things that we need to do. But checklists are a versatile tool. You can add visuals to them. They're automatically engaging because you have to pick up a pencil and you have to check it off, or you have to click it on an iPhone or whatever your tool is for checklists. You can, it's engaging. And checklists, following a checklist minimizes the mental and emotional strain that many kids have when they're trying to make decisions. If they know what comes next or what the options are for what comes next, it limits all of the thinking that goes into all the things I could do right now, right? And limits the distractions to things that are less important. Another strategy is to work the clock. So set time limits for tasks to give children a sense of a beginning and an end, and then how to go about that task. How much time should they spend on this particular task? If it's taking me too long, maybe that's a cue to ask for help. We can break down those large tasks into smaller pieces that are limited by time, and then make time visual. This time timer, I don't have mine right here, but I normally have one close by because my own kids, my 3-year-old and my 7-year-old love to use it because it makes time very visual for them. Another way to make it visual, up in the right corner there's an example of chunking, of just showing one line of problems at a time, and allows the student to just take in one piece and say, okay, you have 5 minutes to work on this set of problems, and then we'll move the paper down, and not to overwhelm the child. Then the next thought is to make structure visible or audible. So our students that have difficulty with executive functioning don't see the regular structure in activities or in tasks that we might see, or not. And so we can help by giving them structure. So it could be as like an academic task. If you say, write a paragraph that shows me whatever it is, that may feel like a really overwhelming task to them. But then when I use a visual like this hamburger paragraph visual, or if I give them boxes to write a topic sentence and then 3 details and a conclusion sentence, or do it for a longer form essay, that gives structure to something that feels invisible to them. It gives them lines to write on, and that's the next example here is if there's blank space is really hard. Have you ever opened a document and you just see the blinking cursor to start with? I think that's an old word thing, but you see it just blinking there, and it feels really overwhelming to just get started. Well, if I have lines that I know maybe how long it should be, or I know where to get started, that's going to give me structure to jump into the task a lot more readily. Mnemonic devices are great for giving audible structure. So if I'm trying to memorize something, or I'm trying to remember the order of operations or things like that, right? Like, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally is a very audible way to think about structure. And then I think about all these new environments that students are in, this Zoom environment. What am I supposed to do here, right? Like my 3-year-old on his Zoom call with the pre-K class, he is wild. And it's like flipping the iPad around and like showing his feet to the camera and all of these things. And I think about even our older kids, they're like, am I supposed to talk? Am I supposed to mute? Do I raise my hand still? Like this is a weird time. And so can we give structure and expectations to, this is how the Zoom call is going to work. First, I'm going to talk, and then you're going to talk, and be really explicit about what you're expecting from them. And then finally, the last example here is around structure to these strange emotions that are going on in our minds and in our bodies. What happens when we feel those emotions? What are the steps that my body goes through and needs to go through to arrive at a calmer state? And so providing really explicit structure there is very helpful. When we think about all the ways that we're engaging with students right now, for our students that struggle with executive functioning, synchronous learning offers a more real-time opportunity to get ongoing teacher support. So it is closer to what we had in the classroom, which may be supportive right now. To assign smaller and similar tasks more often to establish a routine. Do we have a daily question every day that gets us started? That small task and similar task over time is going to engage those students more than feeling like there's something new that's put upon them. Check in frequently with them, and then create space for peers to interact and ask questions. These are opportunities for good models of executive functioning strategies. Our peers teach us a lot, and we've kind of stripped that away from experience right now. It's different. Zoom calls aren't great for peer interactions, but they're at least a step in the right direction. For our kids that don't have access, or we're not using platforms like Zoom to engage them in synchronous learning, we've got to be really creative about how we can support families to identify good peer models, whether it's siblings or doing FaceTime calls with cousins or other opportunities like that. Playing is a great opportunity for engaging executive functioning skills. Here are some examples of games that we can encourage our families to play, or we can play digitally with our students, and engages skills like self-control and planning and flexibility and being a good loser sometimes. Those are all good executive functioning skills. And then finally, let's celebrate the success of our students. Positive praise works at home just as much as it works at school. So we can use it. External motivators, using incentives. This PBIS website has a whole list of incentives that we can deliver virtually, which is really fun. And so celebrating with our students is really a great opportunity. Here are some more articles and resources around executive functioning. Like I said, I'll send this presentation out so that you have access to all of these things, but if you want something more specific, it might be here. And then we are going to open up the conversation. If you have questions that you've been thinking about or something that's worked for you, then we would love to hear more about it. But just to let you know, we're having another coffee chat next Tuesday on virtual IEP meetings. It'll be at 8:30, same time, same format, 15 minutes, and sharing some of the things we've learned from our school partners about how virtual IEP meetings are going and how we can continue to improve that practice. So I'm around for questions. You're welcome to jump off or stay on, but appreciate that you are here. Oh, that's right. I meant to say this. Mary just shared a chat, a Google Doc. If you have, it takes a minute or two to fill out a quick survey about this presentation. That would be great. That would be really helpful.